Here are my picks for today, beginning with the story of Film by Mark Cousins. Now this one is something special. First, it's 15 hours long. And second, it is a complete history of cinema. It is essentially your film school, which you can have during the entire film festival. Mark Cousins is a Northern Irish director who's gone around the world interviewing filmmakers, people like Martin Scorsese. He's got clips from amazing movies. He tells you the entire history of film, and not just Hollywood film, not just European film, but world cinema. So he's in Afghanistan, he's in Asia, he's all over the world, he's in Africa, talking about how cinema has changed those societies, how they've contributed to the history of cinema, and he's done it in 15 hours, which we're breaking down, so you can watch it at one segment at a time, and the best part of all, it's free. That's the story of Film by Mark Cousins. Another pick for today is our Mavericks conversation with Deepa Mehta and Salman Rushdie. Now, Deepa Mehta has established herself as one of the best Canadian filmmakers over the last few years. She's made films like Fire, Earth, and Water. Salman Rushdie, of course, the writer famously of the Satanic Verses, but he also wrote a novel before that, his second novel, called Midnight's Children. And this novel was set on the eve of independence for India in 1947 at midnight. It's about one of the children who was born on the stroke of midnight as India gained independence, and it's a fantastic kind of magic realist fable about this young man who has these special powers. Now, this is a novel that was famously called unfilmable, but Deepa Mehta and Salman Rushdie worked together to make this film, and in this Mavericks conversation, they're going to talk about the process of adapting the film from the book, and about what the shoot was like. They had to shoot in secret in Sri Lanka this past summer, and at the Mavericks conversation, we'll also show the very first scenes from the film that Deepa will unveil for us, and then we'll get into the conversation. Another pick for today is Neil Young Life. Now, Neil Young, of course, a legend, one of the true great musicians in rock, still as radical as ever in his 60s now. Now, he's made two previous documentaries with Jonathan Demme, stage documentaries, concert documentaries, where he just plays his music. In this film, Neil Young Life, he does the same again, but it's a solo concert. It's Neil Young on stage at Massey Hall. It was shot in Toronto this past summer. They've brought the film to us, and they're going to show us the film, and then they'll have a conversation about it as well. So we'll have Jonathan Demme, the director of The Silence of the Lambs, talking to Neil Young, one of the musical heroes for so many musicians. He's inspired countless bands, and it's great to have them for one of our Mavericks conversations and to see the premiere of this new film. Another pick for today is Café de Flore by the Québécois director Jean-Marc Vallée. Now, this is a love story set in two different eras, and it's love defined two different ways. In present-day Montreal, it's a story of a man who has to choose between two women, the woman he's with and his ex, who he still has a lot of feelings for. And then going back to 1969, it's a story of a woman who's played by Vanessa Paradis, the partner of Johnny Depp, and she has to fight for her young son who has Down syndrome. This is at a time when that wasn't very well understood, and there were a lot of barriers in the way of children with that kind of disability. And it's really the portrait of a woman who loves her son so much that she will do practically anything for him. And those two stories are interwoven in Café de Flore. This is the new film from the director of The Young Victoria, and also a film called Crazy from a few years back. He's a terrific filmmaker, and he's made a story that's, I think, probably his most personal and his most passionate yet. Another pick for today is called A Funny Man. This is from Denmark, and for this movie you kind of have to imagine Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin as Danes. This is the story of a comic duo. They were performers in the mid-century, mid-20th century in Denmark. It's a story of their relationship over the many years that they were together, the squabbles they had, the fights they had, and how they had to turn it all off when they went on stage to entertain people. It's kind of a backstage comedy in a way, some great dramatic scenes as well, but it's very much about the tragic lives in some way of the men who make us laugh. And it's got that beautiful mid-century Scandinavian style to it. It's a very polished film, and two great performances at its center. That's A Funny Man.